Hey everyone, Alex Fedotoff here. Today I have an awesome guest, one of our clients in BBA program and now also in ESS program, Adam. He's an awesome entrepreneur from Scotland, and he got his e-commerce brand to $250,000 a month. Awesome brand as well. And so yeah, I would love to learn more about, your experience, your kind of like main lessons that you've learned along the way, because this brand in particular you started not long ago, right?
Yeah. No, thanks, Alex. It's good to be here. Yeah, we only launched this it would have been December last year, so we're only like 10 months old at the moment. So we're still learning a lot. We're still trying to figure this thing out. But I guess we did manage to get it, well, I guess in relative terms, scaled up reasonably fast, given the fact that we're really only selling in the UK at the moment. Obviously, a much smaller population than if we were in the US or globally, but yeah, I think it was October last year where I joined BBA, and I, just got stuck into that. I did have some previous experience in sort of setting up a brand. I did have a health supplement company, but this was back in 2018. That company has now since grown. I was involved in it predominantly for the first 3 years, but we managed to sort of build that. And the thing for me was that I wasn't necessarily involved in the sort of performance media part of the brand. That was all done outside of, not in-house anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted the primary reason that I was quite keen to get involved with BBA and now ESS is really the scaling up of the company and doing all that from within house rather than having to rely on other people, because that can also be tricky trying to find the right people to do that you can trust and that you can have complete faith in. So you might as well learn that yourself. That's been my experience over the last 8 or 9 months.
For sure, my man. So what was your previous company that you were involved with?
So it's called Pure Sport. So it's a UK based company, and it's founded in 2018 by myself and another guy. So I used to play professional sport. Him and I founded it when we were playing in the same team. We were both really into health supplements because we were playing sport and we were looking at ways in which we could optimize performance, recovery, sleep, and things like that. So this was back in the days where I guess like health supplements were just starting to pop off a little bit. Probably in the US it was maybe 2016, 2017, but 2018 we caught up and we started to get on it here. So yeah, we actually launched. It was like CBD oil that we initially launched with, but then as time progressed, it was different types of supplements like natural anti-inflammatory capsules, nootropic type supplements, even like magnesium and electrolytes and things like that now.
Mm.
But long story short, I after a few years continued to play professional rugby, but my business partner, he was a bit older than me, so he was retiring. So he sort of spearheaded things from that point onwards. I sold a bit of my ownership, but retained some of it. And then, yeah, here we are. This is us like 5 years down the line from there now. I'm still one of the bigger owners, but I'm not really involved in the day to day. So the whole idea behind starting the new brand was that maybe we could try and replicate the journey that the first company Pure Sport had been on, and it's now sitting in a decent place. It's a very, very well recognized brand here in the UK, and you could almost call it a little bit of like it has a cult following. Like a lot of people really, really love the
Nice.
the Instagram is like it's pretty crazy. There's a lot of good engagement on there. So yeah, just trying to get this going, and hopefully round two, same thing again.
My man. And so like was that company, what was the playbook? Like was the first company, like was that like purely like influencer marketing? Like how did you grow it?
Yeah, it's pretty much the direct opposite from what I've done this time around. So back then, Facebook ads were a lot easier to like scale up because the cost, the traffic was just so much cheaper. So but we didn't really have much of an understanding as to what was going on with that. So we pretty much neglected all of that. And we used some of the big sort of profiles that we had that were playing in the same rugby team as us to promote the product. So we had guys that had like 200, 300,000 followers on Instagram. So we would give them the product and they would just promote it on their channels, and then we would get sales off the back of it, which is like, I think what I saw when we did that was that this is like, that's the slow way to grow. Even if you work with pretty influential people,
Hmm.
the traffic that you can drive with paid media versus working with even I'm not saying there were guys that have like 10 million followers, maybe that would be different, but there were guys that had 200,000-300,000 followers. They had pretty big support fan bases, But I think the thing that I tried to do this time was actually to not do that much organic content, but actually have a real focus on the ads, the performance ad side of marketing. And I think that's really what has allowed us to scale relatively quickly versus with the other company. Now, don't get me wrong, once we were maybe a year and a half into our journey with Pure Sport, we started to bring on like ads agencies and do some like Google ads and that type of thing. When that happened, we started to see some good exponential growth. But yeah, it's probably still even the sort of story with Pure Sport is that it is very, very strong, the brand, but maybe the performance element of the paid media could still potentially be even better. But the good thing is that the brand is so strong that I guess that the paid side of it is probably arguably the easier thing to get right. But building a
Yeah.
strong brand people love, that's probably harder. So it's in a really good place.
Yeah, I think this is such a good like mindset shift, because there's a lot of people in the industry that like they could be like good with like paid advertising, right? And they can make like almost like any product work, but then, let's say they generate sales and then people are not coming back, right? Like, so they're not building that like loyal following base. And when you're not doing that, then pretty much like you're very dependent on paid advertising. So even if you're like profitable today, then you just have to constantly be on this like, churn and burn. Like you have to constantly create new ads and like run ads. And then, those customers, you just like make one-time transactions. So I think the perfect like kind of the perfect combination is when you have that solid foundation with a solid brand. People are coming back, people are loyal, like you said, like almost like a cult following. And then you put performance marketing on top of it, so you're also acquiring new customers, but then you're also keeping them. That is like literally the brands that like, first of all, they're profitable. Number two, they're also valuable. Let's say if you wanted to exit the brand, it's one of the most important things that investors will take into consideration. Like, what is the stickiness, what is the retention, how long, how many times like each customer on average like comes back and buys from the brand again. It just builds this like amazing real brand that you're proud of.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, you'll be able to have a bit more insight on this, but the monthly revenue of that brand is about 800K a month, but they only spend about 100K on Meta. So
Yeah.
so it's really cool. There's obviously a real stickiness to it and a real big returning customer
I
retention
say, oh man,
inside of
like,
it. So
is it profitable?
it's just about to be profitable. It's taken a bit of investment to get to this point, but it's now turning the corner, and it's looking like over the next couple of years it will be in good
Wh-
profit.
what are the cogs there? Like, because I'm just thinking. So you having like the way I look at it is like it's called the marketing efficiency ratio, MER. You're probably familiar with it. It's like, okay, how much you spent on marketing. So let's say if you spent like $100,000 and you get like $800,000 back, that's like 8x or 800. There's like different 8x basically marketing efficiency ratio. So for every dollar that you spend, you get $8 back. What are the cogs there? Are the products like very expensive to manufacture?
Yeah, the products like yeah, they'd be a little bit more expensive to manufacture than some brands. Obviously, they're made here in the UK. It's not like they're not coming from China. It'd probably be cheaper to get them done there. And also, what I found is that when you actually make the products yourself, then they also become cheaper to manufacture. So there's like I would say I don't know the specific MER of what they'd be getting, but I think the reason for actually building in this way, by building sort of organically, and then now they've got 160, 170,000 followers on the Instagram page, is that they've built this sort of content engine, this almost like it's like an advertising engine in itself, a social media page
Mm.
with that many followers, that they don't necessarily want to spend all of that much money on ads when they can generate a whole load of sales through the organic side of it. So they are getting there with the profit, but I think like yeah, I guess they've maybe still to figure out how they can spend more money on ads,
Yes.
but keep it
Yes.
profitably. Maybe that's still part of the problem that has to get solved.
Yeah, man.
I'm not involved in the day to day, so I guess like I know roughly what's going on, but I don't know the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, because if I would see a business like this with these kind of like exponential returns, I'm like, wow, I would buy that business, because so I'll tell you just for the context, right? Majority of the businesses like in e-commerce, like if they're getting like 3x, 4x marketing efficiency ratio, like on average blended, especially if they're growing, it's very fucking good, right? So if
Mm.
you're getting 8x, first, I mean, the business should be like 40, 50% like profit, like at that point, like unless the costs or operational expenses are very high. And number two is like once you kind of like know those numbers, okay, so we're profitable, let's just spend more money on ads. Maybe it won't be, maybe like, let's say the MER drops to like 5x or 6x, but like you're just growing like a lot faster if the growth is a priority, right? Like if you want to just like grow, like get this business to like 50 mil a year, like, and then exit it or whatever. But yeah, it's very awesome to hear this, like that it's even like possible, like to, I mean, this is very good marketing efficiency ratio.
Yeah, it's strong. It's taken a lot of time, and they do have like slightly higher operational costs than maybe your business or my business would have. But I think the strength of that is shown in the organic following. For instance, they'll have quite a lot of staff that are there specifically to run events or to work with
Mm,
ambassadors and things like that. So, they're not necessarily spending a huge amount on Meta, but they do have other overheads than, I guess there's no right way to try and build the business. There's trying to do it really quickly, and then there's probably taking your time with it and, maybe taking the longer path. That's probably the journey.
yes, yes, and it's like I think with those kind of businesses, it's almost like there's like almost like a tipping point where it's like business gets to a certain point, gets like so much momentum, and then again, like I think coming back to the numbers, like once you reverse engineer the numbers, okay, every dollar we spend on ads or every dollar we spend on this, like produces like $3 back, right? Then it's like, okay, how can we spend as much money as we can to acquire new customers, because the foundation itself is so strong. So yeah, that's a fascinating story though. And yeah, that definitely long term vision, because like you said, 800k months, and it's like, and the business was started 2018.
2018, and they've still not tapped into the US. They're just selling predominantly in the UK. So what I think, like when you can get to around like 1 million a month in the UK, you're in a really, really good spot. But if you unlock the US, it becomes a different animal.
Yeah, for sure, my man. So what was your experience with BBA and ESS? Like, was it helpful for you?
Yeah, yeah, really helpful. The way that I would put it is that, like, see, to get to, obviously it's only been like 9 or 10 months since we launched the business. There is absolutely no way that we would have been able to get to the scale and the volume that we're currently at if it wasn't for learning some of the things that you guys teach, optimizing the website properly, making sure you have your unit economics all in place. There was so many really, really helpful little bits of gold that I got from the coaches and also just from the coursework as well. So I would highly recommend it. I think there's like, and the drop shipping side of it, look, there's maybe more saturated products. Like there's maybe harder to pick a product, but I think what really helped us was we had quite a unique product there that we were able to develop and then get into the market at a good point, so people were interested and wanted to buy it. So that was another thing that I think helped us. But everything that you guys are teaching can be applied to like drop shipping or e-com. It can be applied to e-com where you're actually developing the product yourself. So there's lots of different bits of gold in there. So I loved it. It's great.
For sure. And then it's like, I wish more people had a mindset like yours where they're thinking about the business, more long term, not just, because I've seen so many entrepreneurs like scaling the business to like 6, 7 figures and like sometimes even like 8 figures, but then they're not focusing on the longevity of the business. And then they're like, okay, the business has died or the product has died. And like they're switching to something else. Whereas like if they were just focused on the foundations of the business, if they're focused on having actually great product in the first place, or maybe they have like a average product or mediocre product right now, but that's okay. Everyone starts from something, just like constantly improving that product over time to the point where it's like the business is not just predicated on new customer acquisition, but also there's like a big stream of revenue and sales from existing customers, and keeping those customers for a long time, serving them, giving them the best product quality possible. And I think like if you combine these two things, it just becomes like a superpower.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's like a really common thing within society now to be a young person and want to try and like make money quick online and
Yeah.
make 10K a month. Like you know what it's like. There's people selling these things and like, but ultimately like nothing good normally happens quick. It normally takes time, and I think a
Mm,
professional athlete, like you have to put in so much work to try and get your first professional contract. And then when you get your first professional contract, you think, oh, that was all I ever wanted to get. But then if you want to continue playing and getting bigger contracts, and then you just have to keep going and keep getting better and keep working. So like the work never actually stops. But having that mindset where you're just like not going to give up and you're just going to keep going and do what you need to do to get to the next level, like that is probably quite a helpful one. So yeah, that's maybe a good bit of advice to anybody who's thinking about taking part in the program. It's like think long term, because it's going to be more rewarding.
what were the biggest lessons you have taken to apply to this new brand that you started not long ago?
Yeah, so I mean, probably like product, like how important product is. Like if you have a good product, people will buy it, they'll want to use it. We like managed to get all of these professional athletes and well-established people to use the product. Like I don't think that they would have promoted something that wasn't actually good and that didn't work. So the importance really of actually having a product that works and being able to recognize, like as an entrepreneurial thinker like you or I, you probably try lots of different products because you're actually
Yeah,
quite interested to see
actually,
what is the what is the benefit, what is the impact of this. You probably
no
got one
man.
sitting right.
Yeah, so
What's
I have this actually. Yeah, it's pure accident, right? But like, actually, I have here so this is the brand. It's called Promix. It's also in this space of like, this is protein powder, and it's like on the pricier side. It's kind of like more premium. It's American brand, but like when I look into their story and how they're positioning themselves, it's very similar to what you do. Because, for instance, they have some of the like NFL players, like professional athletes, kind of like endorsing the products, and even how they are positioning the brand. So they're saying Promix is a science based nutrition company making products to the standards specified by professional athletes for performance, ingredient quality, and safety. Like, so it's kind of like very similar messaging, and they do very well. So I think, yeah, I think you could definitely crack US market eventually.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. It looks like a premium packaged product, and like if you can get people like that using it, it often just filters down into the people that like those people, like the sports fans and things like that. So yeah, I think there is big potential for the brand in the US. They've done a couple of activation events like the Boston Marathon, attended that and
Nice.
did like a pop-up store. So things are starting to move on that front. But yeah, that's probably honestly the biggest thing. Like I think somebody that thinks like in a sort of creative way is like if they can make a product, normally it's pretty black and white in your mind when you stumble across one and you're like that's a good product. I think people will buy that and I think I could sell that. For me, I've always like selling can be a tricky thing, but I think when you have real alignment with the thing that you're actually selling, like when you use it yourself and you're like, yeah, this is good, like you don't have an issue jumping in front of the camera and making ads. Like I've made at least about 1,000 ads for the new brand, and people would normally have to pay a creator to make ads for you. So that was a bit of a savings cost that I was able to do that. But yeah, another big learning for the second brand, I think, was like just making sure you really are dialed in on like the unit economics so that you can scale fast.
Mm,
For me, like and it's one of the things that you guys do so well through the courses and through BBA especially. Like it's very much like, what is your cost of your unit, and are you actually going to be able to scale that product when you bring into the picture the cost of acquisition on Meta and or wherever you're selling your product. So fortunately, that was something that you guys actually really helped me with, and it meant that we could scale aggressively and still be a profit. I guess like, I don't know what we might end up doing, 2.5 million or something this year, but we will make profit on that 2.5 million. And when you think about like the initial investment costs that went into starting this business, it was probably around 15K. Now, like
Oh, really?
that's
No
like,
shit.
it wasn't a massive amount of money. So it's like that it can be done. Like I think a lot of people think that if you want to try and build like an engine or business, a machine that is doing, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, you need to bring on investment. You need to spend a lot of money to get it going. And like sometimes you do, depending on the setup of it. But we were able to sort of build this thing and get it going to the level that it's at now, just with about it was £15,000 of my own money.
Man, that's fucking incredible. Like where that money went? Like, so, okay, you have 15 G's. Like, where do you spend that money on?
Good question. So to be honest, like because we make the product, we manufacture the product quite let me just say like 4 or 5K was spent on actually buying like raw materials and some small bits of machinery to actually create the product. And then outside of that,
What
there
kind of
was
machinery? What kind of machinery can you buy for like few £1,000? Like, is that like just like small mixer, like blender?
yeah, yeah. Honestly, it was like that. So like where we had the business for the first like 6 months, we actually just moved the headquarters. We've got another factory now, a big sort of warehouse that we use, which is a lot better than the first place that we were in. But the first place that we were in, we literally bought like a small labeling machine. We bought some heating equipment so that we could actually heat the product up and mix it, and then some equipment to actually put the product into the jars. That was it. That was all we bought. It was very, very small scale. I think we were able to make about 1,000 units of the product per day. Now we've managed to scale up to make much more than that, but that was essentially probably about 5 or 6K. There was probably like on the ad side of it, there was probably 3 or 4K just to like test and get things going and maybe burn a little bit of money there. But outside of that, like rent for a facility, the workshop that we were in was like £1,000 a month, and I had to pay a few grand deposit. That was it, man.
I fucking love it, man. I fucking love it. This like, because every business, like, I mean, if you start like, if you think about it, like every business started like scrappy as fuck, right? Unless it's like some venture capital, like fucking, hey, here's like $100 million, like just grow it like from scratch. But like majority of businesses, the huge businesses right now, like even big conglomerates like Procter and Gamble, like fucking like huge companies, right? They started scrappy, like in a little workshop. Some of the big like protein companies or supplement companies started like with people, or food companies started with people like mixing products up at home in their own fucking kitchen. And then it's like once they make the product, they share it with customers like it, it's like eventually it grows into this machine. So I absolutely love these stories, like where you just like putting all of these resources together, because that's a fucking core of entrepreneurship, right? Being resourceful. It's like, oh, it's like I don't have money, like, or it's like looking for excuses, like instead of looking for like solutions and putting these pieces together to make shit happen.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But it literally is just solving one problem at a time, and doing this on a limited budget makes you be really careful about what you spend money on, and also I think puts good habits in place when at the end of the month you're looking at your accounts and you're like, what should I be spending money on? And there was definitely the first, I think, 6 months that I actually didn't even really pay myself a penny out of the company because I
Wow.
wanted to make sure that everything was getting reinvested back into the company to get it to a good place so that then I could pay myself and obviously like support my family and my life off the back of it. But hopefully, once you get to that point, you can continue doing that, and you've got the understanding of how the business operates, and it should be achievable.
For sure, my man. What was the first product you launched?
So it was just like it's just natural skincare, just natural skincare. So we make like a few different products, but yeah, it's like a tallow based sort of raw honey and raw honey skincare.
Oh, oh
So
wow.
yeah, they were look they're quite straightforward to make, but they're really complicated to get right. So there was like an
Uh-huh.
evolution of when we started making the product, it was at a certain standard, but then 6 months down the line, after like constant iteration to try and improve it and tweaking the ingredients and the formulation, we eventually got it to a point where it was in a really, really good spot, and customers were like I mean, we've got like 1,000 5-star reviews just over the last like nine
Wow.
months. So we got the product to a strong position, but it wasn't like it wasn't like that at the start. That took a little bit of time to get there.
Man, this is awesome. So what's your feedback loop with customers? How do you collect this feedback? Like do you like message them, email them, call them? Like what's that feedback looks like, where you see what iterations, what changes you need to make to the product to make it better?
Yeah, so like first and foremost, I actually just gave this to friends and said, look, try this and see what you think. And they came back and they were like, "Oh, this is actually really helping." Like a couple of my friends who still play rugby professionally, they used it and they were training outside. It was January and it's pretty cold here in January, so they would put it on after they came in from the cold weather, and they were like, "Oh, this stuff has actually helped my skin better than anything else that I put on my skin before." So I started to see that the product was actually being liked, and then obviously we start making sales, and then customers start emailing, start getting feedback coming in through just like review emails that go out automatically. And then you start to, I really do think that's such an important part, because having that trust proof and on your website, and seeing people come on there and they see that there's actually like real people using it and they're saying these
Yeah.
things about the product, I think that made a huge difference to actually us being able to scale the sales up.
Man, so it's 6 months, basically 6 months to refine the product and just get it to the right place.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and we were still selling the product even when it maybe wasn't where we would want it to be. But even at that point, I think the beauty of it was that like the product was already actually quite good, because the ingredients that go in the product are really clean, and they're just really good anyway. So the product didn't have to be perfect
Yes.
for it to
Yes.
make sense for people. But what we really had to work on was actually just getting the consistency of the product, so that every time you made it, it was the exact same
Mm.
product, so that when customers were buying the second and third time, they were getting the same thing.
Man, I love it because it's like, I mean, beef tallow, I think it's trending topic right now in the United States, in terms of kind of like it's kind of like popping off as ingredient. I've seen quite a few of those brands. I think TikTok Shop, like Amazon. I mean, beef tallow like is kind of like a trendy ingredient, but like majority of the products that you would buy in that category is fucking sourced from China. It's like I don't think they do a lot of like quality control. It's just like they're good marketers. They kind of like can sell the fuck out of product, but then the product itself is like mediocre quality. So it's awesome to see you actually like working heavily. And it's like, even like you said, the quality of the ingredients, like even if you put the right high quality ingredients into the products, even if you like mess up few things, at the core it's like the actually good product, they wouldn't hurt the consumers. I think
Hmm.
that's at the core, that's like the most important thing. And just like looking, because I'm always like, okay, so you have this product, I mean, I know like beef tallow, it's, I mean, it's a trendy topic. Is a product made in Scotland,
Yeah, so made
or
here.
UK, how do you like Scotland, UK?
Yeah, yeah. So like a couple of the raw materials that we use to make the product come from England, but then the rest of the products are all sourced in Scotland. So it's all British ingredients that we use.
Man, I think you could crush with this in US market.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got a good opportunity, because like what we've got is like, I guess when you look at the US food system, it's not anywhere near as clean as what we have here. When you think of like a farm in the UK, you think
Oh yeah.
grass-fed cows.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
It makes you think that looks like a good steak sitting in that field. So yeah, don't know, man. We'll see what happens, but hopefully crack into the US soon.
Man, there is one company, they crush. It's called Scandinavian Biolabs.
Okay,
I
check
don't
them
know
out.
if you heard of it. Like, so that's I think kind of like a portfolio of companies. Like, so they have this and they have the other brand I forgot, but they basically the way they position their products is like, I think some of their products are made in like, I don't know where it's made, like in, I don't know, Norway or Finland or whatever. And
Mhm.
that is a big fucking selling point for the products, right? So if you wanted to bring it to you, like if you position it's like, hey, made in Scotland, like I'm buying like for a fucking probably 10 years buying this like Irish Kerrygold or some the
Oh yeah,
Irish
yeah.
butter.
Best, so good, so
Yeah.
good.
And the reason I'm like I'm buying that product because like, for example, I don't want to buy fucking Americans, like, because like even if it says like grass fed, whatever, it's like, yeah, it's grass fed, but it's like, like fucking ground is polluted with like fertilizers and stuff like that. So it's like Ireland, I mean, there's fucking nothing, I mean, it's fucking fields and cows like eat the fucking grass, like it's just kind of like nature. I think there is a great story to tell to sell this product in US market, especially as people here like the trend of looking for products that are high quality, high ingredients. So even if they're priced a little bit higher, like I think you can find some good spot in the market with these products, and obviously the market itself is massive for scale.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely think there's an opportunity. Kerrygold is the best butter. That's the only butter that I eat here as well. It's just a different level of quality. And you look like you're actually looking like you've got pretty fucking jacked up, Alex. 8 months, so it'll be all that the good fat and the butter, the good quality fat will be helping, man.
Yeah, man. I'm adding it to my coffee.
Yeah, that's bulletproof coffee in the morning. That's what I'm on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say is actually the new facility that we moved into is literally in the middle of a field. It's on a farm, so it's like perfect. You've got like the cows and the animals around there. So yeah, I think there's a story to be told, and I have seen one or two brands from. I think there was one skincare brand that I saw from Norway that was out in the US that were doing
Yes.
really, really well.
Yes, my man. Like I would look at those brands and look at their messaging and how they position and their landing pages and how they're describing it. Like, and then like all of the footage. Like, I mean, if you have like fields, like recording cows, like recording like the manufacturing process, like that is a fucking story. That's what differentiates you, like, from like, and that story resonates with people that actually care about the quality, because yeah, it's hard to find like good quality products. It's like a lot of people. That's what I'm saying. Bridging that gap between like become like, some people like are so good marketers and they can exaggerate and they can make claims and they can sell fucking anything, right? Even like mediocre quality products. But like if you actually have a great foundation, a great story to tell, and you amplify that story, I think that is just like, and then you have great products. So when you sell the product, people actually come back. That is like the fucking foundation of a great brand, and like you can scale the fuck out of it.
Yeah, man, I think so. That's the plan. Hopefully, we can do it.
How do you like, so as of right now, like what's your team looks like? Like, do you have anyone like helping you with different like tasks in the business?
Yeah, so we've got myself. My sister actually runs the manufacturing side of the business, so she's in there. We have her. We have one other full-time employee. We have two people that come in for like 2 or 3 days a week. So that's like the manufacturing side of it. And then I've been running all the marketing side. I've got a small team in the Philippines. I've got a media buyer in the Philippines, and I've got a video editor in the Philippines. But that's it at the moment. Pretty lean.
Nice, nice. And so what's your returning customer rate? Like what percentage of customers coming back?
So we're sitting at about 32% returning customer rate at the moment.
32%.
Yeah.
Wow, this is very solid. I mean, for the business, that's like how long time it has been around? Like 10 months? 10,
Yeah,
11
10,
months?
10 months.
That's very solid, man. Very solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I
What's
think it's,
is it like what would be considered like really high? Would 40% be really high?
I mean, you're almost there. Like, I mean, I think, yeah, like 40-50% if you get there. I mean, it's like basically like half of your business is recurring. Do you have subscriptions as well?
We don't have any subscriptions yet, but it's definitely
You
something to
don't
think.
have fucking subscriptions. And you have 32% returning customer rate.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, just like think about it, right? Just like think about it from the consumer standpoint. So I'm a consumer and I buy a product, right? And let's say I'm buying it through Shopify, right? So there is a little bit of friction there, right? I have to put my address, I have to put my credit card, whatever. Like there's certain steps. Maybe I can do it faster with Apple Pay or, whatever. Maybe there's certain like simpler ways to make a purchase. But if I buy from someone, like buy from a brand, and then I go out of my way to go ahead and buy the product another time and like do all of that fucking process again, go through that friction again. If there's, like maybe I'll log in with my previous account and maybe it's a little bit easier. But if I do it, that just indicates how much people want the product, because usually
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, unless it's like Amazon where it's like, okay, boom, one click checkout or just put on subscription. So if you don't have subscriptions and you have 32% customer rate, I mean, number one, I think you should definitely add the subscription. Number two, like you have a great foundation to scale this brand, man. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I need to. So many people have told me that I need to, but I feel like just in this first year, it's probably the same in every business, but like you have a problem and you have to fix that problem, and then another problem comes, and like it just becomes like things get pushed further and further down the line because all these issues keep coming up. But like we've only got a small team, so I have to solve the issues. So it's like we'll get there eventually. But I think once we get through, maybe once we get through Q4 and get into January, I can probably definitely do that.
For sure, my
I
man.
should.
Did I introduce you to Alex Phillip?
No.
No, Alex Phillip. We have this awesome entrepreneur. He's also from UK. I think he lives in London, and he also was like in our community. We're still in touch. He's a great entrepreneur, and he started the collagen brand in the UK as well. And within like a year and a half, he built that brand to I think 30 or 40,000 subscribers, like paid subscribers. So yeah, doing great numbers there. So I want to introduce you to him because I think he'll share some great things. You can share some great things with him on the product because it seems like one of your core like skills is just like refining the product and making the best it can be. So I think you guys can exchange some great insights. I'll introduce you on WhatsApp.
Yeah, man, that would be unbelievable. Sounds like he's a good operator, this guy. If he's managed to build that so quickly, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and he also comes. That's interesting as well because he came from the influencer marketing background as well, like working with influencers, kind of like promoting products that way. And then he also figured out, the paid advertising and just scaled a lot faster. So I think, yeah, you guys will have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, definitely a lot of similarities there. Sounds like we've been on the same path. Like he probably knew some quite influential people and leveraged off the back of those guys. And then, yeah, once you know how to do that part and then plug into the paid media, it can.
For sure, man. What do you still work with a lot of influencers with this brand? Like, do you work with some kind of like professional rugby players and stuff like that?
So yeah, we have done some like organic content on Instagram where we brought in like a UFC fighter who
Oh,
was one
which
of my
one?
friends. There's a guy called Chris Duncan. He's a Scottish guy. He's like maybe he's got about 50,000 followers. He's climbing up the ranks. Chris Duncan is his name.
Chris Duncan. Okay, which weight class?
He's like 70 kilos, so whatever that is.
So 70. That's like 155, 100, 155, 100. Yeah, 150.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That's a competitive fucking weight class, man.
Yeah, honestly, this guy is an animal. So I used to play rugby with him when we were 18 years old.
Uh-huh.
And he was actually really good at rugby as well, but he didn't go professional. So he finished playing rugby, but then he got into fighting. And then he is just over the last 10 years, he got his UFC deal about 2 years ago. And I think he's won like 5 fights and lost one. So he's doing really well. But we got him in and did some content with him and we sponsored him for a little bit of time. But yeah, we did that with him. We got a couple of pretty high profile rugby players as well, did the same thing. And then pretty much like we've not like announced this yet, but and I won't say specifically who it is, but we've pretty much now done a deal with the best rugby player in the world for a partnership deal with a company. So that's going to be exciting. There's going to be stuff coming out over the month or two with this guy happens to be a good friend of mine, so that helps.
That's awesome, and that's awesome. There's also another Scottish like UFC fighter, Paul Craig.
Yeah, I know him.
Huge fucking guy. Like I think he got the only loss for Magomed Ankalaev. Like he was the only guy that like beat him. I think the only loss that Magomed Ankalaev has, I think it was from him, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's a big deal, man. He's got a huge following online, and him and Chris know each other pretty well. I've never met him, but I know that he's a big star over here. He's like 6'5". He's older.
Yeah.
He's probably like nearly 40 years old now. He's a bit older, maybe 38, 40.
Yeah. Maybe you can get him.
Yeah, we could try. I mean, I could probably get connected to him through Chris.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Man, are you into UFC?
I went so a little bit. Like I know a little bit about it. When Chris came into the UFC through Dana White's Contender Series. So I was living in LA. I played rugby in LA for 2 years, but it was during like COVID time. So Chris was fighting in Dana White's Contender Series in Vegas. So none of his family could go out. So he gave me his tickets and I flew from LA to Vegas and watched it. So Dana White was sitting right with me and like it was a pretty cool experience. So after that happened, I started to like follow the UFC a little bit more, but it's fucking epic. I love it.
Yeah, there was a good fights last week. Ankalaev and Pereira. I don't know if you watched that one.
I never seen it. I'll send you. So
Yeah.
after this, I'll send you on Instagram a couple of videos where Chris and I were in the skincare factory, and I was taking
Yeah.
him to send
So
you.
so what the product does, is that for men, like skincare for men?
Yeah, both. Like we've got like 60% men by 40% women, so it's for both. But Chris really liked the product because inside the grass-fed beef tallow, it's
Yeah.
essentially just very, very nutrient dense. So it's got really high amounts of vitamins A, D, E, and K. So those are like the essential skin healing, skin health nutrients. So when he was getting cut open in his fights, he was putting it on his
Wow.
cuts. You can see I've got a couple of like huge cuts. They've actually healed up really well because of the product. But
Wow.
I had some huge cuts from playing rugby, and that's why I was interested because I was almost like sick of using all these like toxic moisturizers and putting all
Yeah.
these ingredients on my skin. I was like, there must be a way to to be healthier about this. And then just before I launched the company, like when I finished up playing rugby, I was a bit heavier, and then over the course of about 9 months, basically just ate like steak and eggs, like carnivore, and I lost like 25 kilos, and then my skin also got a lot better because of all like the healthy fats that I was eating. So then that was almost like the trigger moment. I was like, well, maybe like beef fat skincare would be quite good because when I ate a lot of beef and eggs, I got a lot healthier. I lost a lot of weight. So yeah, it's funny. It's just like life experiences, like things you start to think about things and takes you on a path, and then you learn new things all the time. So it's good.
Man, I love it. I love it. So what channels you on right now? Like you do any Google, like
Yeah,
Amazon?
we just started doing Google, so we're a couple of months into Google. We're about to launch on Amazon. We tried to do a little bit of TikTok, but we've not really managed to get it going yet fully. We are making some sales on it, but it's not much. But that's it at the moment.
You have TikTok Shop in UK?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, better creators like that can explain the products better, or, kind of, yeah, I think it's like there's definitely something about the product. And I think again, like in US market specifically, because like if it comes from UK, it comes from Scotland, it's more exotic. Like maybe it's like, okay, in UK, it's like, yeah, you're in UK and it also comes from UK. It's like maybe the gap is not that big, but like in US, I think you would absolutely destroy with this product.
Yeah. What would you say? I'm interested just to ask, like, what you think might be the best way to actually get into the US? Like, obviously, we're based here at the moment, but if it was you, would you ship from here to the US, or would you try and set up like almost like a little workshop fulfillment center? We could sell the products to a US entity maybe, and then distribute, because we can distribute ourselves, like fulfillment. We do it all here.
Yeah, like I would the first like the way I would approach it, like stage number one is like validation. So it's like just okay for the initial time frame, like you could ship from Scotland. You can even like set it up like if you wanted to just pure dry test, like see if it's like if people even like buying the product, if you can find that like product market fit, you could just sell it at a price and have maybe like $4 or $5 like shipping price. I don't know how much would it cost, like if the product is heavy, to ship it from UK to United States. But I mean, if people know that it's coming from overseas and there is like a shipping price involved, like I think that would be totally cool to pay it, because now they know for sure it's coming from UK. So I think that would be okay. And then once you got momentum with it, yeah, there's a bunch of 3PLs. I can refer you to some that you can ship to your products to them, and then they basically sell it directly to consumers, ship it 2-3 days, no problem.
That's
But
good.
initially I just wouldn't like send products and then hope that it sells. I would first try to sell it, validate it, and only then ship like a batch of products to United States warehouse.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That's what we'll do. We actually did sell some. We weren't even advertising in the US, but people were buying the product. I don't know how they managed to see it, but I'll do that. We'll definitely get some proof of concept first. What's like, generally speaking, it's like a small product, but like what is the cost like per unit to have that fulfilled by a fulfillment center? Is it like $4, $5, like roughly?
Yeah, my man. It's all like weight. I don't know if I can show you. So yeah, so this is one of our products here.
Mhm.
Like these are like the like gummies. So they're like on a heavier side. Usually it's like, yeah, it's like $4 or $5 to ship the product. And majority of of the warehouses of the 3PLs. They charge like pick and pack fees. So they charge like I think $1.50 to $2 to pick and pack. So it's probably would be like probably like $7 to actually ship the product. But I think it's like, we've tested this internally as well. Like you can charge for shipping as well. Like you can charge, let's say $5, whatever, like $4.95 to overcompensate for that expense that you have. And people are still buying it. If people want the product and it's good quality product, and they, everything on the marketing side aligns, they're totally cool to pay for it.
Yeah, that's interesting because yeah, we've managed to keep our shipping costs really low because we do it all ourselves. Like obviously there's some staff costs, but we haven't actually with this product sort of ever done 3PL before. And I have done 3PL with the other brand, but it was only here in the UK. So it sounds like it's pretty similar. Same thing in the US.
I think, man, like from what we have experienced and like what I've heard from other people, I think UK has one of the best like logistical like systems of all of the countries. I think like you guys, like there's like 1-2 days delivery. It's like very fast, very efficient. US is not as, because US is like much larger country and there's like different shipping zones. So depending on the shipping zone, the shipping might be like more expensive. Like if you get into US market, you would want to kind of like incentivize or create like different bundle options, ideally for people to buy like more than one product at once, because then your shipping cost just like incrementally like goes up. Because like let's say like if it's like up to £1, just for illustration purposes, I don't know the exact, let's say for £1 is like, let's say $5. For £2 it only will be $6, right? So it's very like incrementally kind of like increased shipping cost. But then like it doesn't like, let's say, go from $5 to $10 if your weight is double. So yeah, if you can incentivize people to buy bundles, to say of 3 products or 6 products, then that would help you first with AOV and being like more profitable in the front end, and second also with your shipping cost efficiency.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the US brands that are in the same space, like skincare, they're doing like 3 or 5 at a time, which is obviously good for AOV. We do the same here, but I actually think that if we were going to ship in or sell into the US, we could probably increase our prices because it seems like people are buying the products for more in the US than they're actually buying them from here.
Let me do a quick search. So how much you selling your product for?
So we sell one product for $29.99, but that's in pounds. So you would need to transfer that to dollars. Probably work out at like $35.
Yeah, there's one brand. I don't know how good the quality is. I don't know how good of the quality is of this product. I think they blew up big time on TikTok. It's called Evil Goods.
Oh yeah, I know them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's like, in terms of the marketing, they're probably some of the best. They do, how much volume they do? Yeah, so they sell for 49 bucks. And this is 4 ounce pack. So 4 ounce package for $49. They sell, yeah, I think it's for $49. $49 for 4 ounce package.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit more expensive than we're selling for. Do they do
Yeah.
bundle offers? Do they do like buy 3 for X amount, or do they just sell one?
It seems like they're only focusing on one. Yeah, they're only focusing on one. Let me see how much volume they do on Amazon, like this particular brand.
Yeah.
So they do.
Rob the Bank's brand, isn't it? Rob the Bank. Was he involved in it or something?
Yeah. I think that's, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's him. So they do. It shows like $700,000 a month just on Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
So I think there's definitely like, and there is also like, I mean, if you see any other like applications for, maybe other categories, or maybe like even, I don't know if it's like beef tallow like gummies, or beef tallow like capsules or something like that. It's like people can like kind of like different applications, the same kind of core ingredient, but then like different applications. I think that could also like, I don't know if that just, I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
did think that. There's definitely like blended like powders and things like that that contain ingredients that help skin. So like there's different options, and I also think like there's different options of skincare products that we could create. We've actually already created a couple of other products that can address certain skin issues. Maybe it's like acne or eczema, things like that. So we're looking at how we can diversify the product range, and hopefully that can help us scale up and become even more prominent in the marketplace.
For sure, my man. My man, it's so awesome. Like your story is super inspirational, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you at like 1 million months. Maybe you'll do it in UK market, like maybe yeah, maybe like with US market combined. And yeah, just awesome to see like how much time you actually dedicated to building the product. I think that's one thing for all of the like people listening. I think it's one of those like competitive advantages that like you know, yes, it's a longer path. Yes, it takes more time, but it's like in the long term, if you're building like a great business with loyal customers that coming back, I think it's one of the best things that you can do. And maybe like, yeah, as you're building your business, maybe like, you're a good marketer, you're selling the product, but then just constantly evolving and making your product better. I think that's the key of all like, that's the key of the whole business. Not just kind of like settling for a mediocre product and just relying on that one-time transaction, but building something that's you're really proud of.
Yeah, 100%. That's like it's always been the thought process, I think, because I mean, the first business, it took like 7 or 8 years to get it to where it is now, and it's just making it a little bit better every single month, and then that accumulates over a few years, and then you have something that's like, wow, this is like a powerful thing now. You know, people understand what it's about, they really identify as being part of it, and then it becomes a really powerful thing. So yeah, I think it's only 9, 10 months since we launched. We've got a lot more growing to do, but I think playing the long game and not trying to take shortcuts, like that's I think how you build something sustainable based on my experiences. So we're going to try and do it again, and yeah, hopefully soon we can crack this US market and have some luck and maybe start getting some revenue from the US. It'd be great.
For sure, my man. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. It was an awesome conversation, and it's been great to observe your journey. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your next breakthroughs, next big kind of like milestones. And yeah, it's great to know you, my man. And hopefully we see each other soon in person.
100%, man. That's great. Thanks for having me on.